Listen closely. There are days when the air feels charged, when forces you cannot see are pressing against you. August 19th is one of those days. Not every soul will feel it, but those who carry clarity and discipline will walk through untouched. This is not superstition. It is the quiet law of energy. Those who scatter themselves are pulled into storms. Those who stand rooted cannot be moved. When you are fully present, distractions and manipulations lose their grip. This is not just philosophy, it is survival. Shaolin wisdom teaches that awareness itself is armor. If you guard your breath, your focus, your intention, no one can use what you refuse to give away. Presence is not weakness, it is the hidden strength that shields you when the world turns chaotic. In this teaching, I will reveal why on August 19th, chosen ones cannot be broken or deceived. You will understand how silence can protect more than argument, how discipline creates a fortress stronger than stone, and why those who root themselves in purpose remain untouchable. These are not ideas from books, they are lessons forged in the monastery, tested in silence, and sharpened by time. Stay with me until the end, because I will guide you through principles rarely spoken outside of sacred halls. Principles that explain why people may try to provoke you but fail, why energy directed against you returns to its source, and why your own centeredness is the greatest defense you will ever need. This is Shaolin Soulfire, where inner mastery is awakened and strength is cultivated from the inside out. If you are new here, welcome, join us, subscribe, and walk the path of clarity and power. There are days when the world feels louder, as if every thought, every intention is magnified. These are not ordinary days. They test the roots of your being. On August 19th, energy will rise like a tide. Some will feel it as restlessness, others as confusion, but those who have walked the path of balance will find themselves calm, steady, unshaken. Alignment is not a gift, it is the result of practice. The chosen ones are not special because of luck. They are steady because they have trained themselves to be steady. Day after day, they return to the breath, to silence, to the discipline of stillness. When storms come, they are already prepared. Think of bamboo swaying in the wind. The untrained mind is like a rigid tree, snapping under pressure. The trained mind bends but does not break. This is why chosen ones are harder to disturb. They do not fight the tide of energy. They ride it, they move with it, and so they remain whole. When August 19th arrives, those who scatter their attention will feel shaken. Every distraction will amplify. Every shadow will seem heavier. But those who have aligned themselves with inner clarity will walk through the same day and feel its power differently. Where others see threat, they see guidance. Where others collapse, they grow stronger. This is the essence of balance. Not to deny the intensity of life, but to meet it with grounded breath and unwavering presence. The world may shift, the currents may rise, yet the chosen ones stand like a mountain, silent, immovable, deeply rooted. Their calm does not come from the absence of storms, but from the mastery of their own center. There will always be those who seek to disturb your peace. Some with sharp words, some with subtle doubts, others with envy hidden behind a smile. Their strength is not in truth, but in your reaction. They live off the energy you give them like shadows feeding on fire. The moment you flare up, they win. But when you stay silent, when you wait, their power fades into nothing. The Shaolin masters have long taught that silence is not emptiness, it is a weapon. It cuts through illusion without lifting a hand. Patience is not weakness, it is a discipline forged by those who refuse to be moved by the noise of the world. When provocation meets stillness, it collapses on itself. Think of water meeting stone. Strike at it, and the water does not resist. It bends, it flows, it absorbs until the force of the blow disappears. Yet over time, it is the water that shapes the stone. This is the softest stance, one that seems passive, but holds a strength that outlasts aggression. When you choose not to react, you create space. In that space, you see clearly. You recognize that enemies only reveal themselves more through their persistence. Doubters expose their own insecurity. The storm outside may rage, but within you there is stillness, a clear lake untouched by wind. This is the discipline of mastery, to know when to act and when not to act, to wait without fear, to respond only when the moment is right. Those who carry this strength cannot be easily manipulated because their center does not belong to anyone else. They walk through conflict like a quiet flame, untouched, unwavering, and deeply alive. There comes a moment when you realize the greatest throne you will ever sit upon is the one inside your own mind. Most people never claim it. They let the voices of the world sit there instead, voices of doubt, comparison, fear, and expectation. These voices command them like kings, and they obey without question. But the path of mastery begins when you take that seat back, when you declare, my thoughts are my own, my actions are mine to choose. This is what the ancients meant by self-rule, not ruling others, not controlling the outer world, but standing as the sovereign of your inner kingdom. It does not happen in a single day. It is shaped in small, quiet decisions, choosing discipline over distraction, silence over noise, clarity over confusion. Each choice builds the fortress of authority within you. When you claim this authority, outside forces lose their grip. People may try to sway you with anger, with temptation, with ridicule, but their attempts meet resistance, not because you fight them, but because you no longer leave the gate unguarded. You know who you are, you know what guides you, and so, no chain can bind you. Think of a river that has chosen its course. Stones may fall into it, branches may block its way, but the river keeps flowing. It bends, it deepens, it carves through the hardest rock, but it does not abandon its direction. This is the power of self-rule. To live this way is to walk with quiet authority, not loud, not boastful, but steady. The world will test your resolve again and again, yet each test only strengthens your throne within, until no outside command can steer you away from your path. There is a great misunderstanding about mindfulness. Many think it means to withdraw, to step away from the world, to hide in silence as if life itself were too heavy. But true mindfulness is not escape. It is seeing life clearly without being blinded by the illusions that pull so many into conflict and confusion. Illusions appear in many forms: gossip that whispers untruths, drama that stirs emotions without meaning, fear that paints shadows larger than they are. Most people grasp at these illusions as if they were solid, only to find themselves trapped in webs of their own making. But the one who practices mindfulness learns to see them for what they are: smoke with no substance. Detachment does not mean you do not care. It means you choose not to be owned by things that drain your strength. When you hear gossip, you let it pass like wind. When drama rises, you do not step into the fire. When fear knocks, you meet it with steady breath and a clear gaze. This is how you remain untouchable, by refusing to give energy to what has no root in truth. The ancients taught that the world is like a marketplace, filled with noise and distraction. If you chase every sound, you lose yourself in chaos. But if you walk through with calm steps, eyes forward, none of it can hook you. Your freedom lies not in controlling the marketplace, but in mastering your response within it. When mindfulness becomes your daily practice, you are no longer a puppet of circumstance. The strings of gossip, drama, and fear fall away. What remains is a quiet strength, a steady presence, a clarity that cannot be shaken. In that state, you are free, and no illusion can bind you. Many believe protection comes from chance, that some people are simply lucky while others are not. But luck is fragile, it shifts like the wind. The true shield is discipline. Day after day, small and steady practices form a strength that no sudden storm can tear apart. The chosen ones are not untouchable because fate favors them. They are untouchable because they have built their own walls of inner mastery. Discipline is not dramatic. It often looks simple, even ordinary: rising early with purpose, sitting in silence to steady the mind, breathing deeply to anchor the spirit, returning to routines that may seem small, but over time weave together into an unshakable foundation. This is the unseen fortress. You cannot always see it from the outside, but it surrounds those who practice, and nothing enters without their permission. When chaos arrives, most people scramble to find ground beneath them, but the disciplined one has already laid the ground. Meditation has trained the mind to remain calm. Breath control has trained the body to slow the fire of panic. Simple routines have taught the spirit to hold steady, no matter how the world shifts. Think of the mountain temple in the storm. Lightning strikes, winds howl, yet the temple stands because each stone was laid with care, each beam was placed with precision. Discipline is this temple within you. It does not appear overnight, but with patient effort, it becomes a sanctuary no chaos can destroy. So when the world turns restless, the disciplined remain still. Their strength is not a matter of luck, but of choice repeated daily. They are shielded not by chance, but by the fortress they have built with their own hands, their own breath, their own will. The world does not always strike with fists. Some of the sharpest blows arrive unseen, envy wrapped in silence, anger hidden in words, manipulation disguised as care. These are attacks too, though they leave no visible mark. Most people absorb them without noticing, carrying the weight of others' emotions as if they were their own. Slowly they weaken under burdens that never belonged to them. The Shaolin Way teaches another response. Do not panic, do not rush, simply observe. Awareness is your first shield. When you see envy for what it is, it cannot pierce you. When you recognize anger as someone else's fire, you no longer let it burn your peace. When manipulation becomes clear, it loses its hold. The attack is only powerful if you mistake it for truth. Observation opens the door to redirection. Energy is never wasted. It can be transformed. When faced with envy, you do not answer with bitterness. You redirect it into compassion, knowing that envy is born from emptiness. When anger comes, you do not feed it with your own flames. You cool it with patience, letting the fire exhaust itself. When manipulation tries to bind you, you do not fight blindly. You step aside, letting the cord fall loose. Think of a martial artist meeting an opponent's strike. The untrained will block with force and grow tired. The master guides the strike away, using its own momentum to dissolve it. The same is true in daily life. Every hidden attack is a wave of energy. If you absorb it, you drown. If you redirect it, you remain standing, untouched. In this way, discipline becomes more than defense. It is transformation. The world may throw shadows, but you choose whether they enter your light. There's power in words, but there's greater power in withholding them. Most people rush to speak, filling silence with explanations, defenses, and noise. Yet in their haste, they reveal themselves. The one who speaks less creates space, and in that space, truth always rises. Others, unable to bear the quiet, expose their motives without realizing it. Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. It allows you to see without distraction, to listen beyond the surface. While others scramble to control the story with louder voices, you remain calm, steady, unshaken. This composure unsettles them, for nothing frustrates a manipulator more than someone who refuses to play the game. The ancients compared silence to a mirror. A mirror does not argue, it only reflects. When you remain still, those around you see themselves more clearly, whether they wish to or not. Their impatience, their dishonesty, their hidden intentions all become visible in the reflection of your quiet. Think of the martial artist who meets aggression not with wild strikes, but with watchful eyes. By observing, by conserving energy, they allow the opponent to tire themselves. Every movement exposes a weakness. Every rush reveals a flaw. When the time to act arrives, the master's response is simple, precise, undeniable. So it is in daily life. By speaking less, you waste no energy. By observing more, you gain understanding. Your silence does not mean surrender. It is discipline. It is the choice to let truth unfold without forcing it. Those who try to control the narrative eventually lose control, because your stillness leaves them with nothing to grasp. In silence, you hold the strongest position, untouchable, unwavering, and quietly free. Water has always been the quiet teacher. It does not fight, yet it conquers. It does not boast, yet it shapes mountains. This is why the Shaolin hold water as a symbol of mastery. It reminds us that true strength is not rigid, it is adaptable. Those who resist every current snap under pressure. Those who learn to bend, to flow, remain whole. The chosen ones carry this lesson within them. They do not cling stubbornly to how things should be. They move with what is. When life shifts, they shift too. When obstacles rise, they do not waste energy breaking them down. They flow around them, over them, or patiently through them until even stone gives way. This is not weakness, it is resilience beyond measure. Think of the river meeting a boulder. The rigid would strike, break, or turn back. But the river flows on, unhurried, unbothered. Over time, the boulder wears down, while the river grows stronger. This is the way of those who understand the water. They do not meet hardship with panic. They meet it with calm persistence, knowing that time and flow will carve the path. Adaptability does not mean surrender. It means knowing when to stand firm and when to move lightly. It is the art of shifting without losing direction. Water may change shape, but it never loses its essence. In the same way, those rooted in inner mastery can bend without